Hi, everybody. I'm Amy Catherine. I want to share with you the highlights of the school board meeting on August 8th, last night. Chada and Frederickson were not present, but they had an excused absence to the meeting. You also had a school board candidate, Courtney Tabor, who was there. The rest of everybody else was at the meeting. There were a lot of policies that were gone over. Some may had some changes in them, some minor, some major. The animals at school, there's a couple service dogs that are at our school, and there's just a couple policy changes on those and professional boundaries. They were talking about just making sure that there was no impropriety or illusion of impropriety between the student and the teacher. And yeah, as we get on into the world and things change so much, and our major importance is protecting the children. Sometimes those policies get a little bit strict. They have sent that back to the committee to look at those a little bit more and maybe even soften them, because we don't want teachers not to be able to do the good stuff for students because we're looking for all the bad stuff. So they're trying to do that. There's some budget stuff. There's some meetings coming up also about budgets. It's that time of the year. There's the new athletic director. Now, I know I'm gonna mess up his name. From what I understand, he was hired back in the earlier part of the year, and he's actively working and making sure all of our athletics are going and whatever athletic directors do. His name, I think, is Mr. Siki. Like I said, I probably chopped it up. There's a lot of volunteers that help with our athletics, and they were talking about how these volunteers really do need to be on Blair payroll. That way they're accountable to Blair, the Blair education system. So they're looking at policy for that. They're still looking at the exploration of expanding the bus barn for auto collision program, which could start August 23. The local dealerships say that there's a really, really high need for this vocation. One of the school board members, I believe it was Frederickson, went to the active shooter training, and she really said it was impressive and that more people need to go in the school system to have the knowledge to be able to protect our children. Turf's going down. Turf on the field is going down. So maybe you would like to go and see that. And I think it's more than halfway done. They said it should be done by August 15th. There's also policies that are going into place. They're working on policies to protect that turf, to make sure that what is done on that field will not hurt it, and we'll get the longevity that we need to get out of that field. Arbor Park Doors, last time that I came to you, they were talking about Arbor Park Doors not necessarily closing all the way, that you had to make sure you pulled it shut to make sure that it was locked, and that was a safety concern. Since then, they have had somebody come out and look at the doors, and the people who came out and looked at the door said, this is just a hardware problem, that we just need to replace the hardware. And so that expense went from a $10,000 to $20,000 expense down to probably about a $2,000 expense. So they're going to get those doors fixed. The culinary program seems to be a massive venture, and everybody's wanting in the culinary program, and it's more than just cooking and sewing. Like our old home ec, they're talking about a food truck. 2 weeks ago, when I went to the city council meeting, they let something slip out about a food truck and couldn't elaborate on it. I wonder if it's the same food truck. So our students in Blair may start running a food truck. They're talking about partnering with Taher and places in Blair. There's been an increase on the evaluation of our school property by $18 million. So that's going to cost more due to just property taxes and the normal costs when valuations go up. Federal mileage reimbursement is 62.5%. I'm sorry, 62.5 cents a mile. So therefore, Blair has just raised, Blair Schools has just raised theirs to 62.5 cents. We've got an increase in students in Blair. If you do not count kindergarten, we have about a 4% increase. And the reason why they said without kindergarten is because we have a 23 student loss in kindergarten. Last year we had 163 students in kindergarten. This year it looks like we have 140 students in kindergarten. All of our classes have increased in the number of students that are registered, except for kindergarten and our 11th grade. But that 11th grade is only down by 1 or 2 students from last year. But all the other grades have more students in them than they did last year. They're looking at kindergartners having about 17 students per teacher. First grade and second grade, about 21. Third grade, we're looking at about 24 students per teacher. And so they're considering possibly another section of third grade. Dr. Gilson says that we're seeing more homeschool kids come back to the classroom. There was a communication specialist position that has been opened. They feel like they have found somebody interested that has applied. They're vetting her, and they feel like that she's going to be a great match. With grades 3 through 8 is going to have fall map tests. They're not going to do fall map tests for the high school, any grade in the high school. And I didn't quite get what they were doing in kindergarten through second grade. So it could be something a little bit different. It seems though we have a CARE Act, and that CARE grant, and that CARE grant is providing 2 mental health professionals. Another thing that was also discussed, maybe because we had the new academic director there, was the sports and how the sports are going. And it seems like we have a wide interest in sports. They said there was about 80 to 85 football players, 45 people interested in cross country, 41 people trying out for softball. They didn't get a number, but they said there were 3 full courts of volleyball players. So lots of sports going on. As of course, school safety was brought up, and interior and exterior doors locked all the time. So this is going to be the policy, is that the interior and exterior school doors are locked all the time. There's a school safety committee that meets monthly, and this consists of school personnel, police, fire, emergency management. They just all come together once a month and discuss safety and how to keep our kids safe. They also discussed alarms on doors. So if the door is open and left open for an extended period of time, what that is, I'm not sure. But if the door is open and left open for an extended period of time, the alarm will go off. And that was your board meeting. You guys have a good day. Thank you.